Today is an auspicious day under our women empowerment cell, and also we have kind of a counseling cell with us as well. And we have a renowned personality, the first very most important event under these clubs and cells. We wanted to have it with the renowned personality around us. And that's the reason we are all assembled here. And the topic today we are going to deal with it is all about fairness and equality, creating fairness and equality in the workplace, right? So it's all about leadership, okay, leadership and how we are going to deal with people and things like that. So creating fairness in a situation like workplace, especially because we are all going to be the future leaders. What do you mean by fairness? I just would like to give a little scenario. It's not just expecting fairness from everybody, and also it is to see ourselves how fair are we among the community we are going to engage with. So when I was into it was like 2003 when I was in Malaysia. I was offered to work in a place. So, I was agreed with the payment and the terms and my position and everything and started to work. And I went into the real workplace environment and I have seen someone who was working in the same department with a little higher position, with a little higher salary. And, so even actually speaking their experience and me and that person is having actually, I was having little higher. So my salary was also comparatively little lower than that particular person. So we started to work, and you see, the workload we used to have actually it's totally different. He's having little higher position too. So having all these, what will get into our mind basically? Though we agreed and started to work, but actually that fairness will come to our mind. It will start hit our mindset, right? So basically, what will happen? Why am I paid low? Why my position is not equal to the person who is having lower experience and qualification than me? All this emerged into my mind. Okay, then I was just seeing and working every day, day and night and day. It's fair life, right? As starting an employee in a lower position, it's very common for all of us to think like that, isn't it? So it was like that. It was moving. Days were moving. My workload was again and again increased compared to that particular, let's say X. So we see that after 3 months, 4 months, I was really, really disappointed. I was not able to do it. And I thought back my learnings, okay? What we learned during our management studies, equity theory, okay? What do you mean by equity theory? Basically, we have to see, right? So why we are comparing with others in workplace times? What we compare basically our designation position. What we compare further, we compare on our salary and also that recognition and so on. So this theory says what, sometimes you have to be self-motivated, self-driven. Otherwise, you will be start comparing with that outside environment. You will not be satisfied. Then I was asking myself, at the time of appointment, did I have any problem with the package? No. Did I have any problem with my salary or with my position or my workplace that the role I supposed to play? No. Then why suddenly all this came into picture? That is because somebody was in front of me and who is with all these things I started to compare. Then if you start to compare with everyone in the nature, it's not going to be it's not going to make you happy, make you satisfied. So you have to be yourself. Then I asked myself, so you agreed with the payment what management offered, you agreed with the position, then why am I getting upset with that? That's what I recalled the theory and the lessons I have learned during my studies and put it to myself and said, then I started to realize and make my work, my performance was better after that. Then I see that that particular person was working in the same organization for just like 2 years, and I was working like more than 12 years, and I left basically with my own intention, and I have grown up to the topmost position. It is all about that management. They will have different intentions to place different people with different nature of packages and things like that. Okay, we should not. Why I'm telling you this? We should not get offended with all these things, because the people who are in front and the leaders who are in front, they may have different reasons for all those things. Okay, so we should learn this lesson, and we have to make ourselves fair in that workplace and give our best to the people and the community or the workplace or the company wherever we are working with. Okay, so that's what it remembered me when I was thinking about this topic. I just started to recall that 15 years back or 80 years back, my own example. I just wanted to quote to you all. As a budding leaders, we may get some idea about it. Okay, and we have more than this. And today's session is all about the person who is an example and who lives as a real example, and she's in Coimbatore. We are all so lucky to have her around us. And Mrs. Latha Sundaram, the former Indian volleyball player and Indian railway employee, and the managing trustee of Aram Foundation Charitable Trust. She has made a difference in the lives of thousands of underprivileged women and children through education and awareness programs of through the charity basis. Okay, so a few of her projects I would like to highlight here, and which she started around 2012, and she continues to do a lot of good works around the place. If you go to social media, if you take any press release around about Coimbatore, you will for sure, I'm very much 100% sure, you will find her name. You will find her work, that the renowned work she's doing around us. Okay, the Happy Child project covering more than 45,000 underprivileged children. In 2012 she supported, and also she has done another project with Happy Child Positive Parenting and Harmonious Family project. Okay, mentor and motivate the children on different matters to come up well and live well in their life and benefited like more than 12,000 people around. And also she has done a lot of awareness programs, self-vigilance programs and self-defense training workshops and so on for the girl students especially, because nowadays still people we can get the news every day, like the harassment and a lot more around us happening in the especially workplace. Even yesterday news we were seeing somebody committed suicide on some reason, right? So all these are happening, and she is doing a wonderful work on recovering human beings lives from all these tragedies. And also, Madam involves in legal awareness programs, workshops, and training, on special educators like people who are with ADH and autism kind of things. So that is very much important. Today, all of us are running with all six senses, all possible, energy we have. But imagine people who are with the special needs. They have to live, they have to survive in this world, and they need lot of support to live, and they have to make up their own life. And for there, we have educators to them, and we have to make them understand which educators, and she is doing so much work towards it. And I'm very fond of this particular thing. I involve a lot in this too. That's why I give special emphasis on this. And academic support to the government school and corporation school kids and children for their upcomings. And also she involves in the Green India project. Make people green, make place green, and the green clean India. That project and all. And also she has recorded a tremendous support during this pandemic time. Actually, so much we could see, but she was not quiet. She was just approaching a lot of social activists and the people around, the corporations around, and made all the efforts and joined hands with them and helped all the underprivileged and for their day-to-day living. So that's what all about, and more than that. And she is a great human being with us and here today, and with our small note of invitation, and she has accepted and she's joined for this program. Okay, with her busy schedule, with leaving all those out. Okay, I would like to just register our sincere gratitude to you, ma'am. And also more than that, I would like to say that she is an award winner from the President of India in the year of 2016 for her wonderful services. Okay, so that I would for sure you have to mention here. So with that all note, I would like to invite our madam. Once again, welcome you, Latha ma'am, for this occasion. And now I leave it to you the session, and it's to you, ma'am. We once again our heartfelt welcome, and it's to you. Take over, ma'am, please.
Good morning, all of you. Respected Sandra Pandian sir, members of the management committee, members of faculty, and my dear students. It is really a very good opportunity for me to be addressing the set of students from your institution on something which has always been close to my heart, fairness, which is very hard to find. So this morning, when I was talking to your management, and they said I could speak in English, but then add a little of Tamil wherever it is needed, because sometimes, when it is said in the native language, the impact is a little more. So first of all, I'm very much impressed when our Sundaram sir said, the best thing that we can do to ourselves is not to compare ourselves with anyone else. This is one lesson that all of us need to learn, and then, have it in our mind throughout our lives, because all of us are special. And all of us have some capacities, and all of us come out in flying colors sometime or the other. But the problem with the human mind is that we tend to compare ourselves with others. So what we should do is compare ourselves with ourselves. Always. Just see what I was 6 months back. Am I a better person? Just see what I was 2 years back. Am I a better person? Financially, academically, socially, and whatever things that we are doing. Have we improved? Have we made an impact? Have we been able to improve ourselves and give better results? So the comparison should always be with our own self, because the moment we start looking within, we also realize our own potentials, our own weaknesses, our own strengths, and we started doing better than looking outside and comparing ourselves with someone who is either inferior or superior, which is not going to do any good for us. So தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும் அப்படின்னா, நம்ம நேத்துக்கு இருந்ததை விட நான் இன்னைக்கு அட்வான்ஸ் பண்ணிருக்கேனா, டெவலப் ஆயிருக்கேனா, growth இருக்கா, இல்ல நான் என்னுடைய நம்ம வாழ்க்கை தரத்துல எனக்கு உயர்வு வந்திருக்கா, அந்த மாதிரி தான் நம்மளோட பார்க்கணுமே தவிர நாம இன்னொருத்தரோட நம்மள டெஃபினட்டா கம்பேர் பண்ணக்கூடாது. This is very, very important, because this is the base of our life. Because all that we want to do in our life is being a better person and also develop and grow till we are alive in this world. So for this, fairness is very, very important. In the fairness, what comes to our mind is the fairness cream. Yeah, fairness, we all think about the fairness creams and the ads and everything. And the fairness ad தப்பு. அந்த இடத்துலயே fairness கிடையாது. Because fairness அப்படிங்கிறது என்ன, what fairness means is that it has to be impartial, unbiased and equitable treatment for everybody in this world. Not only for our country, for anybody in this world. It is not only for human beings, it is also for other organisms and other animals and every other living being in this world. Fairness is not only to the human beings, for every other living being on the earth, this fairness has to be given. So what is fairness? So if you take a fairness cream advertisement, it says you look beautiful only when you are fair. That itself is unfair. Which is why I feel that such advertisements should not be made. The same way, they say that you use this, you look more glamorous. You use that, you look very attractive. See, it is everybody, again, there cannot be any differentiation on the basis of personal appearances or any other thing that would make them more glamorous or attractive. Everybody is the same, and everybody has to be the same in each other's eyes. நம்ம யாரை பார்த்தாலும் நம்மளை எப்படி பார்க்கிறோமோ அந்த மாதிரி பார்க்கணும். Supposing most of us say that I am not being treated fair, என்ன சரியா நடக்கிறது இல்ல அப்படின்னு நம்ம எல்லாருமே சொல்றோம், நிறைய இடத்துல சொல்லியிருக்கோம். அது it doesn't start. Why I have not started going to talking about the working place is because first thing we have to understand that fairness na என்ன அப்படிங்கிறது ஒரு complete picture இருக்கணும். அடுத்தது இந்த fairness அப்படிங்கிறது எங்க இருந்து டெவலப் ஆகுது, where does it grow from, where does it actually come from, and where does it get nurtured in our minds is what we have to look. Because Fairness in a workplace வந்து அப்படியே வந்துராது. Workplaceல போன உடனே அந்த fairness அங்க இருக்குமா? Who are the people who are there? It is going to be our employers and the employees and other staff. So if I am in an organization, I come from where? I come from my house and I come from a family. So fairness doesn't and will not work if I'm going to be given an awareness or an orientation of fairness on how to conduct myself in a workplace. It has to come right from my childbirth. Childbirthலயே fairness அப்படின்னு நீங்க கேட்கலாம், because there has been researchers which say that this fairness thing, the fairness factor starts in a child when it is 15 months old. Fairness, being fairness or being treated properly or improperly, and what is acceptable and not acceptable comes starts as early as 15, as early as 1 year, as early as in a child which is just 15 months old. So அந்த இடத்துலயே ஆரம்பிக்கிற இந்த factor வந்து has to be given importance for us to carry it through our lives, not only in the schools, but in the colleges and the training institute or whatever, and also to our workplace. So it is not just the workplace which can create such an environment or create such a situation where everything is fair. It is only the people who would be entering the workplace who needs to carry all these ethical values. So what is it? So what is fairness? Fairness doesn't mean that everybody will be given everything equally. Fairness means you will be or I will be getting what I deserve. Supposing, for an example, number one, this school, there is a class with 20 students. Or you can even take your own class where you have some 40 students in your class. Not all of you will be getting equal marks when you take up an exam. So the fairness means you will be getting or you will be rated according to what you give. Just because all of us want to be, all of us like fairness, it doesn't mean that your management or your professor will give equal marks to all of you. The person who is deserving has to get the marks that he deserves, and a person who does not deserve it will not be getting. That is fairness. So, you know, like I remember when I was in school, I mean, I have always been attracted to this fairness. Even at home, I used to say, because now the scenario has changed. But 50 years back, there was not much of this fairness. Fairness now, at home also, there was not this fairness அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு கான்செப்டே இருக்காது. ஏன்னா because all of us have been going through whatever parenting, what my mother taught me, I am parenting with parenting the same techniques with my children. And what my mother was doing, what her mother taught her. The parenting, அதாவது குழந்தை வளர்த்தல் அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து எங்க பாட்டி கிட்ட இருந்து maybe my mother got it and my mother has taught me, but then it does not work now. It will not work anymore. Fairness illa அப்படின்னா வீட்லயே நம்மளுக்கு மதிப்பு இருக்காது. Why I am telling you this? Because see, I actually was from a very conservative Brahmin family, and I had a brother and a sister. And I wanted to take up sports since in school I was in 6th standard. I wanted to play, but my mother, who was very conservative and so very protective, she said, no, you cannot go. My father was a sportsman, and he said, no, see, you need to be fair, you need to allow her. So I had two people who had parented me differently, and I took up to my father as my role model. Why I am telling you this? Because when we talk about fairness, we also need to live it. If I am talking about fairness, we need to live up to it. If I am talking about fairness to my son or my daughter, I have to ask this question to myself, am I being fair? If I am not being fair, then I cannot expect my children to be fair, and the children cannot expect everyone else to be fair. Because we have to understand that we are the society. We are a part of the society. And each of us, if we are expecting fairness, and if we are able to change ourselves and be fair at all times, the change is so very effective, and the change happens at a larger or a greater pace than creating awareness outside and talking to people and asking them to be fair. It is just fairness. ஒரே இதுல ஒரு சின்ன சென்டென்ஸ் சொல்லணும்னா, treat the others the way you want to be treated. And the same way, there is one thing which will also disappoint us. என்ன அப்படின்னா, நான் ஃபேரா இருக்கிறதுனால எல்லாரும் ஃபேரா இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னு நம்மளால எக்ஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ண முடியாது, எக்ஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ணவும் கூடாது. Because in this mundane world or the reality, it is not like that. I may be a fair person. Definitely, the people around me will not be fair. Not all. Some of them are there. Definitely. அப்படி இருக்கும்போது, that should not discourage us, because if we are principled, if we think ourselves or our personality matters a lot, and we want to lead a quality life and achieve things in the most fair manner, whatever it is, be it the achievements in school or the college or the institution or the workplace or the society, fairness is most important. Why have so many governments failed, not only in India but also the other countries? It's because of lack of fairness. So again, if you think of this, if you see, not many children like you take up politics. நிறைய பேர் politicians ஆக மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. ஏன் அப்படின்னா, politicians ஆகணும் அப்படின்னு நினைச்சாலே ஐயோ வேண்டாம் வேண்டாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்ற அளவுக்கு there is so much of corruption, red tapeism, no fairness and everything. So number one, if we are thinking of the society at the larger in the larger perspective, all of us should also think about taking our career as politicians or as administrators or as officers, who lead these politicians, and then see what best we can do at our own levels. It's always what we have to look at is, we don't have to make a big change or a big impact, but we can do things which will make a small difference. And it's only all these small differences put together which makes a big change in our society. So whatever we do, if we think that something needs to be done, we have to live it. Definitely we need to live it. Even to talk about fairness, like I wouldn't say that every time everybody can be fair, because to err is human. இல்லையா? எல்லாரும் நம்ம தப்பே பண்ண மாட்டோம் அப்படின்னா we will be gods. We are not gods. So we are just human beings, and to err is human. But what is most important here is that the intent is most important. அதாவது நம்ம ஒரு தெரியாம பண்ற ஒரு தப்பும் தெரிஞ்சு பண்ற ஒரு தப்பும் this has a difference. And தெரியாம பண்ற ஒரு தப்பை சாரி சொல்லி நம்ம சரி பண்ணிக்கலாம். தெரிஞ்சு பண்ற ஒரு தப்பை கூட நம்ம சாரி பண்ணி சரி பண்ணிக்கலாம். ஆனா what we should not do is to repeat that. It is only then it says that the intent is so strong and it cannot be changed. Human, all of us, I mean, we have to commit errors and we have to change ourselves and we have to grow and develop from there. And it is never quite natural. So if we are not going to learn from it, then it means then we have to write off our own selves. And then, while talking about fairness, what do we do? Supposing number one, in a lot of cases, we think ivanga ippadi senjirkalam, அவங்க அப்படி செஞ்சிருக்கலாம், இவங்க இதை சொல்லிருக்க கூடாது, இல்லைன்னா இவங்க இதை வந்து செஞ்சிருக்க கூடாது அப்படிங்கறத வந்து நம்ம சொல்றோம். பட் the most important psychological factor here is not sympathy but empathy. Sympathizing அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து இவங்க பாவம் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறது. எம்பத்தைசிங் அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து அவங்களுடைய நிலையில நின்று நம்ம அந்த ப்ராப்ளத்தை பார்க்கறது. So and that is put yourself in another person's shoe அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. So fairness means it is not about giving your opinion, putting yourself in other person's shoe and seeing the problem so that you are able to make a fair decision. Okay, and then fairness is mostly a thing that is associated with our waiting for our turn for anything and everything in our life. But நாம வந்து எங்க பார்த்தாலும் we do not wait for our turn. ஒரு சிம்பிள் எக்ஸாம்பிள், சினிமாக்கு போகிறோம், டிக்கெட் இப்போ வந்து சினிமாக்கு போகிறது இல்லை, தட்ஸ் a different thing. சினிமா காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ்க்கு போறோம், அங்க போய் நம்ம வந்து we do not want to wait in the queue, we want to skip the queue. See, this one attitude, if we are not able to set right, will never die and will take us, and it will be there till we go to the graveyard, where we will want to skip turns in anything and everything that we do. Be it school marks. ஸ்கூல் மார்க்ஸ்ல எனக்கு வந்து நிறைய வேணும்னா லெட் மீ பி, முன்னாடி எல்லாம் சொல்லுவாங்க நான் இந்த டீச்சருக்கு பெட்டு, நான் அந்த மாஸ்டருக்கு ஃபேவரட், so I will be getting marks. And that also I wouldn't say it wasn't prevalent, it was prevalent, it was very much prevalent. நம்ம எல்லாரோட லைஃப்ஸ்லயும் நம்மளுக்கு தெரியும், it has happened. See, what matters here is that if you are not going to set it right now, then it is going to carry us through, because this will lead to very, very big problems in life, very, very negative things in our lives. Supposing you want to see, we have invigilators in exams. Despite all this, there are people who are able to indulge in incorrect practices. Doing the right thing is not only when people are there or people are watching us. Doing the right thing when nobody is watching us is what we are on our own. That is your own self. Will I be able to do this? There is no invigilator and there is nobody, and I have my books and I have my books in front of me. But still, if I am not going to touch it, and if I'm still going to do whatever I have prepared for, that is fairness. Fairness means ethics. So these are some of these things. Like if you're going to, just turn off all these things, this will definitely lead to corruption, nepotism, red tapeism, and everything. Wherever we go, we will want to bribe somebody for getting a seat in a good institution. We may be bribing somebody to get because if I have a person who has not got good marks in my exams and I still want to be in the institution, I may give a bribe, or I may do something out of the way, and not only putting myself in the forefront, but also denying another deserving person's seat in this issue. Everywhere this happens. Supposing I go to the government office to get my things done, I say, can you just give me an out of turn permission for this? I have these irregularities, can you just put it off? This is what we do. So fairness, if you are a person who asks for it, then you cannot expect fairness from the world. You cannot expect fairness from the outside world. So what is most important is living. You have to live up to whatever you want from this society so that you get it back from the society. And then see, there are certain things like, okay, I will just take the example of children at home. Okay. We have உங்க எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும், there are a lot of these moral stories which help us to teach children. Why I am talking to you about children is because if there is someone amongst us or someone among the student fraternity who is not able to be fair, I would only blame the parenting or the nurturing that was given at his home, because either he has not seen good role models, or nor was he given the space to discuss with the elders in the family, nor was he told stories, or nor has he seen movies, nor has he seen cartoons or pictures, whatever, which teaches all these models. And then taking turns. Taking turns is one thing which is so very important for the children to learn. Taking turns, you know, like even while playing or doing any work. Supposing we are asking our children to wash the vessels. One day the male child can do, next day the son, one day the son can do, the next day the daughter can do. It is not that all household chores has to be done only by the female child. The male also can do. The same way, if there are opportunities for education and training and whatever given to the male child, the same has to be given to the female child. So this fairness starts at home, which will imbibe all these very important values in the minds of these children, wherein they will take it through wherever they are and live up to it. If somebody is failing in the workplace, if somebody is failing in the society, if somebody is failing in a college or a school, in fairness, it means this mending or mentoring has not happened during the childhood. Because as I told you, even when the child is just 15 months old, it is able to distinguish acceptance and not acceptance of all types of behavior. So this we need to understand as grown-up individuals and try to do our best when at home, when we start parenting our kids. So now there are some characteristics which help us to, which is associated with fairness. One is being objective. Being objective, supposing I see a person and I talk to him, okay, and I find him, oh, that's nice. He is well educated and he is able to express well, and he is very conversant and so knowledgeable about whatever he was discussing. This is being objective. Supposing I think of the comments that somebody has made on him while I judge him. Somebody might have said, oh, he is a person who is head heavy. அவனுக்கு நிறைய தலகணம் இருக்கு. He is an arrogant person. அப்படின்னு யாராவது சொல்லியிருந்தாங்கன்னா எனக்கு, and if I am looking at him with that eye, then that means I'm not fair. So we have to be objective about whatever decisions or judgments we make about not only people but any other issues wherever we are. And then being open-minded. Being open-minded is what? நான் சொல்றதுதான் எப்பவுமே சரி, நான் சொன்னா அது கரெக்டா இருக்கும், டெஃபினட்டா கிடையாது. Because we have to understand in this world, anybody can, what is free in this world is advice. இல்லையா? ரொம்ப ஃப்ரீயா எல்லாரும் கொடுக்க வேண்டிய ஒரு இது வந்து அட்வைஸ். பட் அந்த அட்வைஸை வந்து கேட்கக்கூடிய ஒரு மனப்பான்மை நம்மளுக்கு இருக்கணும். We have to be open to whatever the others say. Because only when we listen to whatever the others say, then we will be able to make a fair decision. And then being reasonable. Being reasonable வந்து மத்தவங்களுக்கு நம்மளுக்கு மாத்திரம் தான் being reasonable இருக்கணும். Supposing I am given a lot of work in the office. I work in the railways, And supposing I am given a lot of bills to pass, ஒரு நாளைக்கு 100 பில் கொடுத்தாங்க அப்படின்னாக்கா நான் சொல்லுவேன் என்னால முடியாது சார் அப்படின்னு நான் சொல்லுவேன். ஆனா என்னுடைய பக்கத்து சீட்ல எனக்கு இருக்கிறவருக்கு ஒரு 120 பில் கொடுத்தான்னாக்கா நான் அதை சொல்ல மாட்டேன். Am I being reasonable? So being reasonable is not only for ourselves, for everyone else. ஒருத்தர் 5 kg தான் தூக்க முடியும் அப்படின்னா அவரை 10 kg தூக்குங்க அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்றது is not being reasonable. So we have to be reasonable for our own self and also to the others. And then judgment, not being judgmental. அது இந்த first சொன்னேன் இல்லையா, அந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்டோட போகும். நம்மளுடைய what is very very popular in India and in our own society is being judgmental. எல்லாரும் நம்ம ஒருத்தரை பாக்குறதுக்கு முன்னாடி, ஒருத்தர்கிட்ட பேசுறதுக்கு முன்னாடி, ஒண்ணு செய்யறதுக்கு முன்னாடி all the judgments will be formed. இவங்க இப்படிதான், அவங்க அப்படிதான், இவங்க இப்படிதான் சொல்லுவாங்க, அவங்க அப்படிதான் செய்வாங்க, இவங்களால முடியாது, இவங்களாலதான் முடியும். So these are all the things which makes us not being fair. This is not being fair because being judgmental will never help us in our lives. It is for us to ascertain this, whatever we are making decisions on anybody or any issue, to look for the facts and then do it scientifically and understand and never be judgmental. Because the judgmental எங்க போனாலும் சொல்லுவாங்க, ஓ இவங்க ஒரு லேடியா, இவங்களால செய்ய முடியாது, இவங்க ஒரு ஜென்டா, ஓகே இவங்களால செய்ய முடியும். அந்த மாதிரி எதுவுமே கிடையாது. We are all equal, we are mutually dependent, and we grow in the society mutually. We have to be independent and dependent most of the times. We have to be independent but also dependent. There is nothing like women are superior and men are inferior, or men are superior and women are inferior. Both of us are the same. We are equals. And then this gender bias or something is not associated with women alone. It is associated with the human race itself, because when we talk about gender parity, we mostly talk about women. அப்படி செய்யறாங்க, womenக்கு இப்படி ஆகுது. I have seen and I have had a lot of cases where men have come and complained about women. So this gender bias is not only to women but also to men, because this is where the fairness comes. It is not gender bias. Gender bias it is not only to women, it is also for men. So fairness not only for women but also for men, for both the sexes. And then contributors. One example that I would like to give is that sir was telling in Madhuri Prime Minister கிட்ட, President கிட்ட நான் award வாங்கினேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி சொன்னாங்க. And this is one award that came from nowhere. But there was one thing that my father had taught me when I was in school. Keep doing things, do not expect the results, and then be a contributor. அவங்க செஞ்சாதான் இது வரும், இவங்க செஞ்சாதான் அது செய்ய முடியும், அவங்களாலதான் பண்ண முடியும், என்னால முடியாது அப்படின்னு இல்லாம what you can do on your own at your levels, keep contributing. You will see the results. So when I started in 2012, I had no office, I had nobody, I was the one man army. I started doing things, so many things. I went on leave from my office for nearly 2 years on loss of pay, and I started researching on schools, children, students, and with so many other factors, I started contributing, because you have to be a contributor. And then not only if you're a contributor, the people who are associated with you will start contributing. That is fairness. And then when I started getting a team, and when I started having my own staff and every other people in the administrative office, they all started looking at me and then started contributing. So this contribution, if if I say I am the managing trustee of my trust, and I'll just keep giving orders, and I'll just keep decentralizing my responsibilities and doing nothing, no contribution will be coming from their side. I have to be totally involved in whatever thing that I do and to see that it is successful. I have to be a contributor to get a contribution from my subordinates. So this is fairness, which is also expected of us in our workplace. And then being selfless. And definitely, sometimes, it goes beyond board. Being selfless, sometimes you lose yourself, which has sometimes happened to me also. Because I would really honestly say that I have lost all my, family time. I have lost my, social gatherings. I have not attended weddings. I have not attended parties, functions, anything at home for more than 9 years. But I have the utmost satisfaction of doing or contributing every day. What we tell to our children is, do a good deed a day. Something, a little thing, something, a good deed a day. So if we start doing this and start being selfless, you will know, and you will also see that the blessings and showers of goodness comes from everywhere. It might take time, but it is sure to come. So we have to be definitely selfless if we are going to be fair. Supposing in the fairness, I also want to give an example. Now that this COVID vaccine has come to India, so what is the decision of the central government? The central government has said that these COVID vaccines will first be given to the frontline warriors and the doctors and other conservancy workers and staff who are associated with treating these patients, and also to the elders who are 55 and above, because they are more vulnerable. So this is fairness. This fairness, again, you see, it exists at all levels till the government. So who is in the government again? It is only human beings like us who become politicians and who become administrators, who take up seats in all these systems. And if they are fair, everything is fair. So now coming to the workplace. Nowadays, women take up all the jobs like men. And you must have seen right from, riding an automobile or flying a plane till being a commander in an army setup. We find women in all these pursuits. Same way with men. But what matters in a workplace, what makes the parity in a workplace is, sometimes there are inequalities with respect to pay. This does happen, mostly not in government service, because in government it does not happen, but mostly when it is a private institution or a private setup, or in a lot of enterprises in the private sector, we hear people lamenting, he is being paid more and I am being paid less. If, as Sir has said, if it is on the basis of whatever is required of you, or it is on the basis of your own capacity, or if it is on the basis of the responsibilities that you are given with, then it is okay. But if it is going to be a conspicuous parity, wherein you share the same responsibilities and the same workload and still being paid less or more because of your gender, then it has to be set right. So these are all the things which make which give an unfair environment in any working setup. And then all of us have to be given equal opportunities. Right. Supposing there is something challenging in an institution. Again, we cannot be judgmental and say this person can do this, or that person can do this, or this woman is most capable, or that man is very commendable and he has a commendable reputation, and so he is capable of dealing with it. No, it has to be an equal opportunity that is given to all of them, and then the selection based on that for any challenging task. It cannot be a judgmental decision wherein we decide, okay, I fix this person to do this job. So it cannot be that. And then the training opportunities. Supposing I enter, even in our railways, when we enter the work, there is this probation period, which is 6 months, which was earlier 3 months, and now it is 6 months, wherein we are given equal opportunities. We have women also working as station masters, as engine drivers, and also in open line, where they conduct the signal system and see that the trains go to and fro. So there is no work which is not being done by a woman. So the training, supposing in the railways, we employ women in the signaling system, and then do not train them, what is going to happen? And you only train men and saying that women cannot do this. If we are employing anybody, whether it is man or women, if we have to give the training, it is for all of them. So there should be equitable. It has to be equitable treatment for all of us. Equal opportunities, equal job opportunities, equal training sessions, and whatever it is. And then wherever we are, even if it is going to be a private business where we have only few staff, or if it is even going to be a trust like mine where we have a few staff, or it's going to be a biggest organization in the country like the railways, we need to have some principles. Where we need to have some principles or a legal system in place. If this is done, the company should have principles wherein they will be giving incentives on based on whatever the turnover or the performance of people are. Like workshop. I work in the workshop where we have nearly 1,000 people working on signaling equipments, and we have an incentive scheme. And whether, it depends, depending on the productivity of the person, the incentives are given every month, irrespective of whether they are men or women. So this motivates them to do more. So this has to be there. Such principles has to be there. The same way, if somebody, these fairness also means that you not only give the maternity leave for the women, but also the paternity leave for the men. This is one new concept that has caught up, because it also helps the mother in a way, because the father will understand, or the men will understand the hardships of women of how to take care of the child at home, and all a lot of issues which was only handled by women. Now with the paternity leave, the father has understood, what sort of hardships my wife is going on, what sort of hardships my mother has gone through in bringing me up. So this type of things has to be available for not only women but also for men. So the CCL has been, CCL is child care leave, which has been a great boon to all of us in the central government organizations. And the CCL is 200 days of leave with pay that is being given to all of us since the birth of the child till it is 18 years old and becoming a full-fledged adult. So this has been a great boon that has come just 2 years back or 3 years back, if I'm sure. And this also enables a fairness, because women on the whole, have a lot of responsibilities, and they are multitasking and doing a lot of things at home, outside, and the society, and also the workplace. So this sort of things will help her, to be more productive, and also be more faithful, and also be more successful, not only in the domestic front, but also in her career. See, this is what fairness is all about. So, in railways, there can also be no there can also be no differentiation based on race or religion in any of the organizations. We commonly do not do that, but it does exist in a few places, and I have been very disappointed about it. See, in railways, why I'm talking about railways is because if biggest career giver, like a biggest institution of the nation can follow it. Any other institution, whether private or public, can also do it. So we have people who belong to the minority sector in railways, and they are permitted to go for their prayers on Fridays, which is a good thing, which is fairness. So there cannot be any distinction uh, based on religion or race. The racism, of course, it does not exist much in India, but it exists in all of the foreign countries where you could talk about black and white, and this racism is as much prevalent as they, although they say that it has been put down with an iron hand. It does exist, because I have my own sisters and brothers and so many of my relatives all over the world, and still they say that this racism is prevalent very much not in India but in other countries. So this also should be put down or should be contained if we need fairness in any working atmosphere. And then legal laws. See, there is this ICC, which is an internal complaints committee, which is being formed in almost all organizations, big or small, wherever there are more than 10 women working in a place. So this had started some 2 years back, and I have been the internal complaints committee in almost all the enterprises, public or private, in Coimbatore and in so many colleges, and also in the railways. But what I have found out is that the men do not have this platform for complaining. Because it is not just that women undergo such problems, it is also men, a few men do get affected by such problems. It could be a psychological abuse or a sexual abuse sometimes, which will have to be heard. So what we have made it as, internal complaints committee, not only for women but also for men, because they also should have a platform where their problems or grievances are addressed. So this I have been recommending in almost all the places, and I've also had listened and also followed up with a few of these incidences that have happened in Coimbatore with men. And then diversity and inclusion. Diversity is, India is diverse, and it's the biggest country which has so many diversities, and still we have been able to do successful living, and we have been able to be successful as a country, and we have been able to be on the path of becoming one of the superpowers. Of course, 2020 is not a year that has to be in our minds at all, because we have had a lot of things which we would always want to erase from our minds because of this COVID and a lot of other happenings. But then in we are definitely emerging as a superpower just because despite our diversities, we have had this inclusion which is being talked about, which is being sensitized, which is being given importance, which is being carried through in everywhere, not only in the government, but also in other institutions, and also in all the private and public sectors. So it is only this understanding the diversities and sensitization of these issues, and then inclusive principles of the organization or the management, which acting on fairness, not only for the men but also for the women, which will be more successful. So when there is fairness in any place, definitely there will be a good morale among the workers. There will be more trust in the management, and they will be able to give the best, and they will that is they will be able to be more productive, and they will be able to give more productivity, not only productivity, but also help the management or the organization reach greater levels, which all depends on how the management deals with these fairness principles. But at the same time, if we are a part of any organization, let us remember that we have to be fair. If we expect fairness from any other person or from the organization or from the management. See, all that I can say is all that we have is one life. So if we live that life right, that once is enough. Is it not? Because as I told you earlier when I began this, to err is human. But what we need is to see that it is not intentional. Anything we have to judge only on the basis of the intent. So we can always make amends and change ourselves. So if we do the retrospection and then look within ourselves, it is the day when we really start growing and developing ourselves, rather than looking outside or the person next to me and comparing myself to the person next to me, as our sir told during the forward of this session. So children, all that I want to tell you all is that being fair starts at home, and you can also be a role model. Supposing you find your mother or father not being fair. I was a great rebel at home. I used to tell my mother, why are you letting my brother go out in the night? Why are you letting him play cricket? Why are you not letting me go outside in the dark? Why are you not letting me play volleyball? I was a great rebel. But then, when I was doing all this, I also was doing a fair play at home. At the same time, I have to see that I do not offend them. I see all my responsibilities are done. I have to see, if I have to claim something somewhere, I must see that I am in such a status to speak out. I have to be fair. So the same something happened in my home when my sister started playing. My mother said she should not play, and that day she left sports, and now she's almost 65 years old and she's never played after that. But I had given a promise to my father that I will never give up studies. I will never do any blame game and say that just because I'm in sports, I'm not able to study. I will take care of my future. I will take care of my marriage, and I'll take care of my career, my expenses, and everything. And then asked for fairness, wherein I told my parents, permit me to play. So this was agreed on. So fairness, if it is put in the proper way, will be understood by anybody and everybody. So all that you need to do is be fair and expect fairness. It cannot be pointing fingers to the society or pointing fingers to others and say he is not fair and the society is not fair. If you expect something from outside, let it come from within, from your own self. So with these few words, I think I have been always speaking to small children in schools, and right from the kindergarten to the 12th standard. So I always address you as children, even in colleges. So you are definitely children, and you have a lot of scope to learn and change, and become better individuals, as you're all children still and in the learning process. So look within, and then always never be judgmental, and then have a fair eye whenever you view anything, which will definitely see that fairness comes back to you. So with these few words, I would I like to conclude my speech, and if there is any question that you would like to ask me, be it personal or be it on this topic, I would like to answer them.
So before we can post the questions in the chat box. Before we get into the questions, I would like to recall the father of India, Mahatma Gandhi's words. If you wanted to see any change in the world, you be the change. You want to see it in the world, right? And education from inside is all about. That's what, in nutshell, what Madam was, trying to bring it to us. And if it's not into the real forum, it's into virtual forum. And on behalf of all of us, we are all of you students, please give a standing ovation to our madam who is with us today and spare a lot of time with us and being, from the basic, from the children, 15 months to today to the workplace. She has brought in the whole thing through this virtual platform to all of you. And I'm very sure this is going to do a big, difference in your career and in your life as well. So now I would like to just leave it to you people. Any questions, you just put it in the chat box, So any personals or anything you can. So even later, if you have any questions, you can approach me. We will connect you with ma'am, and she'll be happily able to support you all with all needed, right? That we will do that. Usually, I connect people through that forum because madam is really have that passion towards people and lives, bringing up that underprivileged. That's her passion. That's her the whole life she has dedicated. As she said, she selfless. That is what all about. Role model, to many of us. And I'm sure from today, many of you will take madam as your role model as well. So even a lot of girl students are there. It's really a great opportunity for you people today. So that's for the small note I would like to give here. Any questions here? Please. Maybe it's too early for them to have questions or what, ma'am. Yeah. So just one more point I would like to tell you all here. Just see what is wrong in situations. Don't see who is wrong. When you see what is wrong, you will get into solutions. When you see who is wrong, you will get into problems. So with that small note, I would like to thank really from my heart, bottom of my heart, personally, for accepting this invitation and sparing all her, leaving all her work and sparing time with us today, ma'am. With your busy schedule, I disturbed you a lot, and very, really extremely sorry about it. And thank you very much for your obligent, this note and accepting that invitation and sparing time with us today, leaving all your important priority works away for our 50 people in front of you and spending your valuable time. Our heartfelt thanks from our team and our management, especially our chairman, our trustee, our CEO, and our principal, and every one of us. Thank you so much for being with us, ma'am. Thank you so much. Here, and I have a note here I would like to just read out for you. Akshay Jayadevan. In a business world, does outcome matter or gender equality? Because in unskilled workmen gives more outcome than women due to their physical ability. Should they be paid the same?
In the business world, does outcome matter or gender equality? Because in unskilled work, men give more outcome than women due to their physical ability. See, as I told you, anybody, when you take up a physical job like, even in our railways, I told you, we have women and also men who do the productive job. But the incentive is not based on whether a man is giving this or a woman is giving this. It's just based on their productivity. So it doesn't mean that the women cannot do the physical work, and they are in all levels of all categories and all levels of production work. So it doesn't mean that with this incentive or reward has to be based on whether they are man or women or based on gender equality. It is just based on the productivity. Production from this person is this much. Production from that person is this much. Based on that, the incentives are given. Because It is not that the organization has asked you to go for this job. It is you who have chosen this job to do a physical job or give a production of some kind. So if you're into that and if you've accepted the role that you're going to play, then you will not be complaining about, as a female, I'm able to give only this much. Because you have taken it wholeheartedly and you're giving whatever you can contribute. So whatever, according to your contribution, you will be able to get the rewards or the incentives. So the productivity of the person matters, but the productivity of whether he is a man or a woman does not matter here. Anywhere for that matter. The quality of output or the quantity of output is what matters, but not the gender. Because we take up jobs which suit us, or jobs which are recommended to us, or job for which we are trained, or for jobs which we aspire. So there should not be any complaint, or there cannot be any disparity based on that, because we will be rewarded or we will be punished based on our own outputs.
See only the job, don't see the gender.
Exactly.
That's what, Madam wanted to say, man. Yeah. So don't have that thought at all in mind. Just see the work, see the productivity, see the outcome and reward accordingly. That is already fair enough, right?
Not only rewards and also the punishments, sir. Because
also punishment.
Yeah, exactly. Laws, when you have a legal system in place, you are not only rewarded but also punished for any wrongdoing, which also does not have anything to do with the gender. Yeah.
So, any other questions? That's great, good question and good feedback. Thank you so much, ma'am. Once again, I think you are out of some schedules, and I don't want to take you committed. Only 11:30. I know. I remember still the time, and you have other works to do. And thank you so much once again on behalf of all of us, ma'am. And we wish you all the best, and may God bless you with good health and a lot more life to serve the society and serve the kids, especially the children. And thanks a lot, ma'am, for being with us. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, management, for this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.